Hello everyone and welcome to SkShadow. Today we are playing F1 2020 again. So we are in our My Team and we are almost at the Canadian Grand Prix. So there's not a huge amount of admin work to do because there's only 2 days. So I think I'm going to choose GeForce training because that's going to give our second driver one extra bit of racecraft. And if we look at his stats currently, he has 32 experience, 62 racecraft, 59 awareness and 77 pace. So anything we can give him will certainly make a big difference. So we're into the Canadian Grand Prix weekend, and looking at the weather forecast, it is completely dry, which is fantastic. Practice 2 is raining, but I don't do practice 2 or 3 anyway, so that's not an issue. And looking at the car performance chart, we are still in the bottom 3, pretty much exactly the same as it was last time, but Haas is a little bit faster this time. So I'm going to do practice and then I will see you in qualifying. So we're into qualifying now, and we're going to go out into our first lap. So after that first qualifying run, we did a 109.9, which is about 5 or so tenths quicker than IDOT, and that puts us in P7 at the moment. So I'm just going to skip forward, and I suspect we won't need to do another run because I'm pretty sure that should be fast enough to get us into Q2. So at the end of Q1, that was just about fast enough to get us into Q2. We came 13th, but we will go into Q2 and see where we end up. So we made it into Q3, so we actually ended up 10th in the end, which means we move into Q3. However, I don't suspect we'll actually do any better than 10th. So after Q3, I only managed to get a 109.6, which puts us 10th, which is where I expected we'd end up in Q3 anyway. So after that, let's go to the race.
Hello and welcome to the Ile Notre Dame once again for what promises to be another incredible Canadian Grand Prix at a fiercely competitive circuit, where pole position can often be decided by less than 1/10 of a second.
So looking at the tyre strategy, it looks like this is going to be a 2-stop race. So we're going to be needing to use 2 sets of softs and 1 set of mediums. The guys behind are primarily on softs, so they might be doing a 2-stop, or as they're new softs, they might be able to get away with going soft to hard and doing it as a 1-stop. So we're going to have to be pretty pacey here to avoid losing places due to the others being on a 1-stop. It's lights out and away we go. We get a pretty good start, I'd say. We've got Ocon trying to come up our inside. He's still sticking with us. And using overtake, we actually managed to get past Perez quite easily, so his engine must be quite bad. We make a bit of a blunder, and Perez is going to come back at us while we have no overtake. And Perez is coming up our inside, so we just need to try and outbrake him, which doesn't quite work. He is properly squeezing us to the side here, but overtake allows us to make the move. There's a yellow flag for some reason. Albon is out of the session. We have DRS now, however we're not in the DRS zone of signs yet. So going on to the back straight on lap 4, we've got Perez behind us at about 7 tenths-ish. Obviously he's got DRS on us now, so in a car like his, I imagine it won't be long before he starts to try and overtake us. In front we have Sainz, who's now 1.7, so he's pulling away from us. So it looks like 8th is going to be the best we can possibly get, and I suspect we will be falling back quite soon. and the car just completely goes away from me, and that results in Perez managing to make an easy overtake. Thankfully we somehow managed to not get any damage from that. It looks like we've just managed to stay within the DRS zone, even though we are over a second behind, so that should help us on our defence against Ocon. I will say this car has become very, very twitchy on its now we've got a bit of tyre wear. Our rear tyres are looking at about 38%, so yeah, it's becoming very oversteery at the moment.
You'll be on the softs.
However, like Jeff just said, our pit window is in 2 laps time, so as long as I can hold on for that long, we should be fine. Going on to the back straight on lap 7, we are still just within DRS zone of Perez, and Ocon has actually fallen out of our DRS zone, so hopefully we should start pulling away a little bit from him now. So the 2 cars up ahead of us decide to go into the pits, which means coming out of the pit straight we are 5th currently. However, we are pitting next lap, so we need to put in a decent in lap. Somehow going onto this back straight, Ocon is now 2.6 seconds behind us, so we've actually built up a fairly big lead on him. And we're going to be diving into the pits right about now. And out in 2.6 seconds, not too bad. Let's see where that puts us. It puts us firmly behind Perez as we were before all the pits, so that's okay. We are a little bit closer to him now though than we were. Perez has a little bit of a lock up, and the Ferrari managed to get past the Williams, and now Perez is going for it too. And now it's our turn to get past the Williams, which we managed to do just as we go into the DRS zone. Yeah, these tyres are definitely faster. As you can see on the map, we managed to set a purple sector 3. So skipping ahead to lap 13, I've now fallen out of DRS range of Leclerc, so he's going to start pulling away from us quite quickly. And the gap to Ocon behind is about 1.7 seconds. Obviously we've still got 1 stop to make, but it looks like almost everyone else does as well. I can't see anyone on hards at the moment, so it seems like we're all in the same sort of strategy at the moment. Yeah, and the reason we're on softs and everyone else is on mediums is because we opted to not do a second run in either Q1 or Q2, which means we had a couple of sets of brand new softs spare. So that's why we were able to do a soft medium, whereas I imagine everyone else doesn't have another set of new softs, so they happen to go soft medium instead. So we've managed to get back into the DRS range of Leclerc, as he's only 5 tenths ahead now, and we've actually built a 3-second gap to the car behind, so 9th place or 10th place is looking pretty secure at the moment, I'd say. So it should be good to get some points after our last 2 races where we personally were pointless. Leclerc is going for a move on Perez. And we capitalise on that, and it looks like we're about to overtake both of them. And somehow we actually do. Did we get any damage from that? Nope. Of course, Perez does have a very fast engine and is more than likely going to be able to get to us in the DRS zones, so we have to be careful of that, using all the overtake we can to try and keep ahead. However, we've only got 22% of it, so we need to start saving a little bit of it. Jeff just said we're leading our teammate by 18.9 seconds, so a nice healthy lead as usual, and we are going to dive into the pits. What would be incredibly useful right now is a fast pit stop. 2.2 seconds, that is exactly what we were looking for. We actually come out about 4.6 seconds ahead of our teammate. It seems like I was wrong initially, and it seems like barely anyone is actually doing a 1 stop. So strategy wise we should be good. Just need to make the overtake on Giovinazzi here. And we managed to do it nice and cleanly, and even get a little bit of DRS to help us along the way. If you're liking the content so far, make sure to leave a thumbs up. If you want to see any more of this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification buttons so you know exactly when we upload. Check the links in the description as well. We've got Discord down there if you want to come and talk to us. Yeah, so we now have Perez just over a second behind, actually under a second now. So yeah, we managed to stay ahead of him through the pit stops. We're just about getting the move done on Magnussen. Now what I'm hoping for is that Perez gets stuck behind Magnussen for a little while, because then that will create a little bit of a gap for us. So after all the pit stops, we are back into 10th, and Perez has actually managed to get past Magnussen. So I imagine it won't be long until he's coming up to us soon. It looks like Leclerc has not done well by staying out 2 laps longer, because after his pit stop he'd actually come out about 4.5 seconds behind us, which is a lot further than he was before the pit stops. It seems I've managed to catch up with a train of cars ahead of us, and I now actually have DRS on signs. So skipping ahead to lap 28, the situation's pretty much the same. We are still getting a DRS on signs, but we're not fast enough to be able to actually make a move on him. So we're kind of just waiting for a mistake from him, and we've made a little bit more of a gap on Perez. Signs did make a little bit of a mistake there coming out the corner, so if we follow him closely enough, we might actually be able to make a move. We give him a little nudge to let him know we're there, and we managed to make the move stick. And going into the back straight, we are 1.7 up on signs, so he hasn't actually been able to stick into our DRS zone, so that is very, very good for us. The little battle that's been going on between Stroll and Ricciardo has allowed us to actually get quite close and into the DRS zone of them. And Stroll is going for a move.
Brilliant. Nice move.
And we have to take a little bit of avoiding action, and in doing so we actually managed to get past Stroll. And we have DRS on Ricciardo, and we're about to try and go for a move on the inside. We give him enough space, and now we're going to give him the squeeze, and we managed to stick ahead, so we're actually in 4th at the moment, which is quite insane. Now the tricky part is going to be staying 4th. I mean, we've only got to defend for 1 and like a quarter lap, so shouldn't be too difficult, hopefully. Going into the back straight, we're chucking Rich on and overtake on. Ricciardo's about a second behind, so we should be fine for crossing the line in 4th, and we bring it home. So after the end of the race, we did end up 4th, which gives us 12 points, which is absolutely fantastic. Our teammate ended up 20th, so no points for him, but that does move us up into 6th in the driver standings, and our team into 5th in the constructors, currently tied on points with Renault. So overall, a very, very good result for the team, because at the end of the season, those points could make a huge difference with where we end up in the constructor standings, and in turn, how much money we get for development next year. But after that, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fantastic action. And other than that, that's it from me. Good night.